Hello friends, welcome you all in this session. In previous session we were doing this question, so we will complete this question first and then we will take up another question. So let me summarize what we did so far. There is a network in which these are different time estimates. The critical path is A, C, D and H, and the probability that this project would be completed in 36 days is 50%, right. Now when you hand over this project to your client, if you submit this project to the client before 35 days, because you have promised to deliver this project to client within 35 days, if you submit before 35 days, then you will get a bonus of 5% per day. But if you do not submit or if you do not hand over project to the client, then there would be a penalty of 8% per day, right. Total contractual amount between yourself and client is 10 million and you are expected to earn 3 million, right. Now what we have done, after finding this value 36 days, which is the mean completion time of the project, we have taken what is the probability of plus minus 3 sigma deviation from 36 days. So 36 plus minus 3 standard deviation, right. And how did we calculate this standard deviation of this project? First we calculated standard deviations of each of these critical activities, right, A, C, D and H, and then we calculated variance of this project, which is 2.66 and the standard deviation is 1.56. So after calculating standard deviation of the project, what we did, we calculated Z values. So Z value at 36th day is 0, at 35th day minus 0.64, minus 3.20 on 31st day, 3.20 on 41st day, and then we calculated cumulative probabilities, and from cumulative probabilities we found probabilities. In fact you can do the other way around also. In fact you should do other way around. First of all you should find out probabilities by looking at appropriate table and then compute cumulative probabilities. And then in this column we have got penalty and bonus, right. So if you deliver project on 35th day, there is no penalty, no bonus. 5% bonus if you deliver it on 34th day, 20% bonus if you deliver on 31st day, 48% penalty if you deliver on 41st day, right. So what is the amount? The penalty amount is probability multiplied by this percentage of penalty or bonus, right. So 0.0052 into 0.15. Why this 0.15? Because this is in terms of percentage, right. So what would be this value now? 0.022 into 0.10, right. So this is 0.0022. It's very simple, right. Then 0.0726 into 0.05, right. So this is in terms of percent, so this is 0.05. It's 0.05. So this would be 0.0036, 0.0036, right. The next one would be 0.161, of course this is 0. Then 0.2392 into 0.08, right. 0.08. This would be minus 0.0191. Why this minus? Because this penalty. So penalties will have all negative amount. So for next the next amount is, so let me not write these values now, 0.2392 into 0.16, I'll directly write what is the penalty amount, right, since you know how to compute, right. So the next value is 0.038182, then 0.0386, of course all these are minus, right, minus, then 0.0, then minus 0.0085 minus 0.0025, right. So when you after calculating all these values, just add this column. So it would be minus 0.124. So expected penalty, 12.4% of what? Of this amount. And so the penalty amount is this is equal to, in other words, 1.24 million. When this is the penalty, what is the expected earning? 3 minus 1.24. So this is 1.76 million. So the answer to this question is what? What was the question? We wanted to find out what is the expected earning for this project. So expected earning is 1.76 million, right. So this is how you can solve a question like this. Now we will work out one more question which is similar to this but with some other data set. So in this question we have been given different probabilities and again different durations, right. So let us take one more example on probability models related to networks. The example is quite an interesting one and we will see how to solve this example. There is a company, a construction company, which is to bid for a highway project, and the company has identified that the probability of getting highway project depends on time it quotes in its quotation. So let us say the probability that the company will get that particular project, a highway project, is 25% if it quotes that the project would be completed in less than or equal to 25 days. Now the probability that the company will get this project is 15% if the company quotes the completion duration as 28 days, and the probability that the company will get that particular project is 5% if company quotes the duration as less than or equal to 30 days, and if you quote more than 30 days then it has no use, right. So we have to decide what should be the duration company should quote so that it gets the tender, right. Apart from this, there are a couple of other information. So whatever time you quote, if you finish it before that, then you will get a bonus of 5% per day. So let it be like this. Bonus is 5% per day. I will tell you 5% of what little later, right. If the company quotes, let us say for example 25 days, and if it completes in let us say 23 days, then there would be 10% bonus, right. Similarly, if company quotes 25 days and if it completes in 26th day, if it completes on 26th day, then there would be a penalty of 1 day, and that penalty is 6%, right. So, penalty is 6%. Apart from this, the total quoted price is 500,000, 500,000, and the margin is expected to be 37.5%. So, this profit margin is 37.5% of this value, right. You can easily calculate what would be that profit, right. Now, you have been given a project with precedence relationship. So, there are different activities in this particular project. So, let me write those activities here. So, activity precedence activity, preceding activity. So, this is the first activity and you are given some preceding activity, and you have been given 3 time estimates, right. Optimistic time, most likely time, and pessimistic time, right. Now, when you have, let us say these are different activities A, B, C, D, E, F and G. So, preceding activity of A is none, for B also none. A and B are the preceding activities for activity C. It means you can start activity C once you complete activities A and B, right. For D it is B, right. For E it is C. For F it is C and D, and for G you got E and F, okay. And when you draw this particular network for this problem, you will have to use couple of dummy activities also, right. So, we will draw that network also. Let us write time estimates. So, this 5, 7, 9, 5, 7 and 9 for A, okay, for A 5, 7, 9. For B you got 4, 10, 16, 4, 10 and 16. For C you have got 6, 7, 11, 6, 7 and 11. For D you have got 4, 6, 8, 4, 6 and 8. For E it is 4, 7, 7, 4, 7 and 7. For F 3, 5, 7, 3, 5, 7 and finally 5, 6, 7, right. Now, from this particular precedence relationship you can draw the network for this particular question, and let us find out what is the total completion time for this particular project, right. So, the network, let us draw this network. So, you have got different nodes, let us say this is 1, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, you have got 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th, right. So, there are 7 nodes and these are different activities. And if you look at this, and this is your activity A, activity B, activity C, activity D, activity E activity F and G. This is your dummy activity. This is another dummy activity. Why did we draw this dummy activity? Because we know that C is the activity and predecessors are A and B. So, for C, A is preceding activity, and similarly B is also preceding activity for this activity C, right. So, you can see that B is this, right. Now, we have drawn this particular network. Now, let us find out what are the expected time durations of these activities. So, for activity A, what is TE value? We have already seen T is what? It is TO plus 4 times Tm plus Tp divided by 6, right. This is the formula we have already seen, right. So, for A, let us calculate the expected value, right. So, this 5 plus 4 into 7, right, plus 9 divided by 6. So, this is 28 plus 14, 28 plus 14 is 42 divided by 6. So, this is 7, right. So, the duration of this activity is 7. Similarly, you can calculate durations of other activities. So, for B, what would it would be? So, this would be 40 plus 20, 60 by 6, it means 10, right. So, for B it is 10. Similarly, for other activities you can also calculate durations, right. So, let me write these values. This 7.5, for D it is 6, for F it is 5, this 5, for G it is 6, for E it is 6.5, right. So, activity E and its duration is 6.5, and of course, these two are dummy activities. So, 0 durations, right. Now, once you are done with this particular calculation, you need to find out how much time this project will take in its completion, right. So, let us find out T and TL values at all these nodes. So, early start time is 0. For this T is 10, right. For this T is 10. Why 10? Because this dummy activity, right. So, as I said, we need to calculate T in forward pass, right, and we take the maximum value. So, at this node, from this this particular node, T would be 7, and from here it would be 10. So, we will take the higher value, right. So, we have selected 10, right. Similarly, here it would be this is 10 plus 7.5, 17.5, right. 17.5 plus 0 is 17.5. From here it would be 10, right. 10 plus 6, 16. So, 16 and 17.5. So, we will take 17.5, right. At this node, this is 17.5 plus 6.5. So, 18 plus this is 24, and for this is 30, right. So, we will say that the scheduled completion time is 30, since we have not been given any other scheduled completion time. So, we will take TL as 30, right. This we have already seen earlier. Now, we need to calculate all TL values for this particular network, right. So, TL at this point is 24, 30 minus 6 is 24, right. Similarly, you can calculate all TL values, right. So, at this point TL is 19, at this point TL is equal to 17.5, at this point TL is equal to, at node number 3 this is 10, here at node number 2 TL is 10, and here it is 0, right. Now, you need to calculate critical path. So, critical path is this path, right. So, this is 10, right, this this, this and this. So, what are different critical activities? You have got activity B, C, E and G, right. B, C, E and G, these are 4 critical activities, right. Now, let us calculate the standard deviation for all these critical activities. And what is the standard deviation? Standard deviation we have already seen, it's TP minus TO divided by 6, right. So, standard deviation of activity B, right, standard deviation of activity B is TP minus TO. So, this is 16 minus 4, 12 by 6, it is 2, right. So, standard deviation for activity B is 2. Similarly, for activity C, right, what it would be? 11 minus 6, 5 divided by 7. So, 5 divided by 7 you will get 0.83, right. Similarly, for activity you have got E, for activity E it is 0.5, similarly for activity G it is 0.33, right. So, once you calculate all these standard deviations of activities along critical path, you need to calculate now standard deviation of the critical path. So, let us calculate standard deviation of critical path. So, for this what you need to do is, okay, let us calculate variance first. So, this is 4, right, this 2 square, right, 2 square plus 0.83 square plus 0.5 square plus 0.33 square. Now, this becomes 5.05 and standard deviation is 2.25, right. So, this is our standard deviation. So, we are saying that this project would take 30 days time with standard deviation of 2.25 days, right. Now, let us move further and calculate how much duration should we quote in our quotation, so that we get this particular project. So, we will have to do calculations at 3 levels. First level we will quote 25 days and we will see what is the total penalty or total bonus, right. Similarly, for 28 days and for 38 days, right. So, first of all we will calculate it for 25 days, okay. I have already told you that the area under the curve normal curve is within plus minus 3 sigma, it is 99.73%, right. Okay. So, approximately let us say this area is 99.73 and this is your 0 point, right, and this area is, generally we say that area under curve is unity or 1, right. So, this area is 0.5 and this area is also 0.5, right, is not it. So, this is how we say that total area under curve is 100%, right. So, let us look at what is the possible duration of this project, because we know that this is the standard deviation. So, this is your mean value, which is 30. So, 30 plus minus 3 sigma is what? It is 30 plus minus 3 into 2.25. So, let us take this value is equal to 7, though this is not exactly 7, but let us take it 7. So, you will have 30 plus minus 7, right. It means 30 minus 7 23 and 30 plus 7 37. So, this is the total duration possible, 23 to 37 days. So, you can complete the probability that you will complete this project within this range is 99.73%, right. Now, we will calculate different penalties and bonuses, right. So, as I said, you can complete this project in 23 days and maximum you can complete in 37 days, right. So, let us look at this. This is day, let us say 23rd day, 24th, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36 and 37, right. Now, when you, let us also calculate Z value. How to calculate Z value for 23rd day? I have already told you. Let me write this formula once again. What is Z value? It is x minus mu divided by standard deviation, right. So, x value is 23. So, 23 minus mu is this 30 divided by 2.25. So, this is minus 7 divided by 2.25. So, this comes out to be minus 3.11, right. So, this is minus 3.11, right. Similarly, for what would be the Z value for 24th day? Just put here 24, right. And what would be the Z value for 37th day? Just put 37 here. So, 37. So, this would be just plus 3.11, right. So, in this way you can calculate all Z values, okay. So, let me write these Z values. So, this is minus 2.667, for 25th day it is minus 2.22, for 26th day it is minus 1.778, for 27th day 1.33, for 28th day minus 0.889, for 29th day is minus 0.444, right. For 30th day it is 0, right, because 30 minus 30 is 0. Similarly, for 31st day you got, now you just change the sign. So, instead of minus 0.44 you will have plus 0.44, right. So, this let me write it 0.444, right, 0.889, then 1.33, 1.778, 2.22, 2.66 and finally 3.111, right. So, once you calculate this side, the other side can easily be calculated, right. So, Z values are this. Now, you need to find out what is cumulative probability, right. So, let me write here, this is cumulative probability, right. Now, you should look at Z table. What is the, in fact, if you look at this particular curve, as I said that in this curve, this area is 100%, right. So, what we will say, this is 0 value, this is 1 sigma, okay, let me redraw this curve. So, this is your 0 value, this is 1 sigma, 2 sigma and this 3 sigma, right, 3 sigma, 2 sigma and 1 sigma. So, the minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. Similarly, this side you have got 1 sigma, 2 sigma and 3 sigma, right. So, this all these are plus, right. So, no need to write plus sign here, right. So, 1 sigma, 2 sigma, 3 sigma. So what we are say that any value which is in this region, the area under curve would be 0, right? And when we move towards this side, the area under curve will increase, and at this point the area under curve would be 50%, right? So any area under curve beyond minus 3 sigma would be 0, right? So let us look at, and this value you can take it from probability table, Z table. So let us take this is 0 value, right? When you check the Z value in 2.66 column, so let us say when Z value is 2.66, right, then you will get a value, whatever value you get, you just subtract it from 0.5 because this area is 0.5, okay. So you can do this. So whatever is, let us say at 2.66 you will get, I think, 0.4961 if I remember correctly. So at 2.66 area under curve is 0.4961 minus 0.5. So you will get a value which is 0.0038. In fact, there is no need to calculate area under curve up to these 3 decimal points. In fact, 2.66 will do, not a problem, right? Do not calculate Z area under curve at minus 2.667, only up to 2 digits would suffice, right? In fact, you can delete all these, right? For easy calculation you can remove 3rd digit after decimal point, right? So this would be your cumulative probability, and as I said, when you move towards this side, the area under curve would increase, right? So let me write remaining cumulative probabilities. So here you will have 0.0131, 0.0377, then 0.0912, then 0.187, then 0.3286, and when Z is equal to 0, this is 0.5, right? As I said, at Z is equal to 0, area under curve is 50%, right? Then this is 0.6714, 0.813, at 1.33 it is 0.9088, then this is 0.9623, then 0.9869, 0.9962 and 1, right. Now it is not necessary that when you look at Z value you will get these cumulative probabilities. You just look at the Z value at 2.66, subtract it from 0.5, whatever value you get you just write that value, right, isn't it? These values I have written on the basis of, you are having one more digits on all these Z values, right. So these values are on the basis of those particular Z values, but you have to write only those cumulative probabilities which you see in Z table, right. Now since you know these are cumulative probabilities, you can easily calculate probabilities, right. So let me say, I know that area under curve when Z is 3.11 it is 1, right, or 100%, right. So the probability would be, let us say probability would be for this particular 37th day this 1 minus this, okay. So this would be 0.0038, right, this minus this, similarly this minus this, and you just keep on calculating cumulative probabilities, right, probabilities. So this is 0.0093, 0.0246, 0.0535, 0.0958, then 0.1416, then 0.1714, then 0.1714, then you just write these values again from here onwards, right. So let us say 0.1416, isn't it, then the next value would be this, right, 0.0958, then 0.0535, 0.0246, 0.0093, and 0.003, and finally 38, and this is 0. Right. Now since you know these are the probabilities, now let us calculate whether you would be getting bonus or there would be penalty, right. So penalty oblique bonus. As I have said, we are doing this calculation for this particular quotation, right, when we quote 25 or less than 25 days. So when we complete this project in 25th day, there won't be any bonus or any penalty, right. But if we complete it on 24th day, right, then there would be a bonus of 6%, and if we complete it on 23rd day, there would be bonus of 12%, right. So all these are in terms of percentage, okay. If you don't complete it on, let us say 25th day, then there would be penalty, and penalty is at the rate of 5% per day, right. So from 26th day, so this 5%, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55 and 60. So these, and you can always write one more thing, because all these are penalties, so you can put minus sign here, right. All these are minus, right, okay, and of course this plus 6% and plus 12%. Now what is the amount of penalty or bonus? So amount would be, let us look at this. Initially it is 0 into 0.12, so this is 0, then it is 0.0038, this is the probability, right. So 0.0038 into 6%, right, it means is 0.06. So this value is the amount, and that value is, let me write that value, it is 0.00023, right. So this is the amount of bonus, right, 0.0023. Of course we will multiply it with the actual amount. So these are different amounts. So for this, the next time it would be this 0. How did we get 0? This 0 into 0.12, this is 0.0038 into 0.06, and the third one value would also be 0, right. Why 0? Because 0 into this, right, and similarly you can calculate all other values, right. So for 5%, let me write what is this amount. So 5% what it would be? 0.0246 into 0.05, right? So let me write it in this way. So this is minus 0.0012. For 10% it is minus 0.0054. For 15% it is minus 0.0144. For 20% it is minus 0.0283. For 25% minus 0.0429. For 30% it is minus 0.0514. For 35% minus 0.0496. For 40% it is minus 0.383. For 45% it is minus 0.0241. For 50% it is minus 0.0123. For 55% it is minus 0.0051, and finally for 60% it is minus 0.00223, right. So you just add all these values. Now this comes out to be minus 0.275. So when you see this is negative value, it means it's a penalty, right. So let us calculate what is the net expected profit. So this is 0.275% is the penalty. So the total expected penalty is this much, right. When you convert it into in terms of percentage, it becomes minus 27.5%, right. So this is your penalty, 27.5%. In other words, this penalty is nothing but equal to 137.5 lakh, 137.5 thousand rupees. Why? How did we get this value? This is because our total the quote price is 500,000, right, and penalty is 27.5%. So total penalty is 137.5 thousand rupees, right. And so this is the penalty, right. And what is our profit margin? It is 37.5 of this, 37.5 of 500,000, right. So that profit would be 187. So let us calculate. It's 37.5% of 500 would be 187.5, right. So this is your profit and this is your penalty. So let us calculate net profit. Net profit is equal to, it's equal to 187.5 minus 137.5. So this is 50,000 rupees, right, 50,000. Similarly, this is net profit for 25 days, right, for 25 days. When we quote 28 days, all these values will change, right. So let me directly write net profit for second option. The net profit for, let us say, for 28 days, it would be, so net profit for 20 days it would be 187.5 minus 61.5. So this is 125.75, right, this for 28 days. And finally for 30 days, the net profit would be 187.5 minus 9.2 thousands, which is equal to 178.3 thousand. This for 30 days. Okay. Now we have been given, we have calculated all these net profits, right, but we did not use anywhere this particular information which is given in the question. So let us calculate the resultant expected income. So resultant expected income is 50,000, right, in first case. So 50,000 into 25%, so it is 0.25, right. So this becomes, it is 12.5, 125.75, 125.75 into 0.15, right, 15%. So this becomes 18.86, 18.86, and finally you got 178.3 into 0.05, right. So you will get 8.91. This is 8.91. So what is your solution? How many days would you quote in your quotation so that you get this particular project? The maximum value is this, right. So you should quote 28 days. So in this way you can solve this particular question. So with this, let me complete this session. Thank you very much.